Jeopardy!
Let's meet today's contestants. How her friends know her? Spookendoodle. She likes partying, hanging out with friends, and being best kind. How her work knows her? Sam. She has an obsession with pugs, and pugs. And how school knows her? Samantha. She's a first-year textile student who's always way too busy. And here's our host, Alex Trebek.
Well, tonight, folks, we have a very interesting game prepared. We have 3 of the same people, just from different settings in their life. I don't know how I got here. Too true. Anyway, let's get on with the game. Here are your categories. Definitions: mediums, mediums continued, styles, styles continued, and bonus. Definitions for 100. The expression or application of human creative skill and imagination, typically in a visual form. What is art?
Correct.
Definitions for 200. A term that describes a diverse range of human activities and the products of those activities, which cover the creation of images or objects in fields including painting, sculpture, printmaking, photography, and other visual media. What is art? Definitions for 300. The use of skill and imagination in the creation of aesthetic objects, environments, or experiences that can be shared with others. What is art?
Correct.
Definitions for 400. Creative activity resulting in the production of works to be appreciated primarily for their beauty or emotional power. What is art?
Correct.
Definition for 500. Something that has a subject, engages audience, and projects point of view or attitude. What is going on?
Incorrect.
What is art?
Correct.
Mediums for 100. The Egyptian pyramids are ancient pyramid-shaped architectures constructed possibly as far back as 2515 BC. What is art?
Correct.
Mediums for 200.
The Vitruvian Man is a drawing created by Leonardo da Vinci, circa 1487. The drawing, which is in pen and ink on paper, depicts a male figure and notes on the correlations of the ideal human proportions.
What is art?
Correct.
Mediums for 300. The Raven is a narrative poem by American writer Edgar Allan Poe. Published in January 1845, the poem is often noted for its stylized language and supernatural atmosphere. What is art?
Correct.
Mediums for 400. The Great Wave off Kanagawa is a woodblock print made in 1829 by Katsushika Hakusai. What is art? Mediums for 500. Tiananmen Square, one of the most famous photographs, was taken in 1989 by Stuart Franklin Magnum. It is also considered something else besides photography. What is art?
Correct.
Mediums continued for 100. This photo here is of Kate Moss modeling one of Alexander McQueen's beautiful creations. It's not just a dress. Okay, no, seriously. Last thing I remember, I was working on my art history project, and then...
Incorrect.
What is art?
Correct.
Mediums continued for 200. The Persistence of Memory is a 1931 painting by artist Salvador Dali, and is one of his most famous works. What is art? Correct! And with that, let's take a quick commercial break.
Glad you could join us today. Today I have one of my little friends here. You know, I've got several letters since I've shown these in the previous shows, asking how in the world you go about feeding a little squirrel. Well, it's a very delicate operation. Diana has worked with me for a long time. Diana is the bird lady here in Muncie who loaned me this little rascal. And this is how hard it is to get a little squirrel to eat. That's all there is to it. Aren't they the most precious little characters you've ever seen? Yeah, poor guy. He hadn't had nothing to eat for years. You could feed them 10 times a day, and they'll always be just about this hungry. Hey, you know, I have to go to work. Yeah, I have to go to work. Okay? All right. I'm going to set him right over here and let him finish lunch.
And we're back. Spook, your turn. Mediums continued for 300. Venus de Milo, created sometime between 130 and 100 BC, is one of the most famous works of ancient Greek sculpture. Did we seriously just watch Bob Ross feeding a squirrel? What is art?
Correct.
Mediums continued for 400. Metropolis is a 1927 silent science fiction film directed by Fritz Lang. Not only was it full of pioneering special effects and the first real science fiction movie to hit the screen, but it was also a beautiful example of the German Expressionism style. What is art?
Correct.
Mediums continued for 500. It uses many mediums, even more than the ones stated in this category. What is
Correct.
art? Styles for 100. Dada, or Dadaism, was a movement of the European avant-garde in the early 20th century. Dada was born out of negative reaction to the horrors of World War I. Dada rejected reason and logic, prizing nonsense and irrationality and intuition. What is art?
Correct.
Styles for 200. Expressionism was a modernist movement originating in Germany at the beginning of the 20th century. It typically presents the world from a subjective perception, distorting it radically for emotional effect in order to invoke moods or ideas. What is art?
Correct.
Styles for 300. Futurism was an artistic and social movement that originated in Italy in the early 20th century. It empathized and glorified themes associated with contemporary concepts of the future, including speed, technology, youth, and violence, and objects such as the car, the airplane, and the industrial city. What is art?
Correct.
Styles for 400. Pop art is a movement that emerged in the mid-1950s. Pop art challenged traditions of fine art by including imagery from popular culture, such as advertising, news, and other media. What is art?
Correct.
Styles for 500. Post-Impressionism is a term coined by the British artist Roger Fry in 1910. Post-Impressionists extended Impressionism while rejecting its limitations. They continued using bright colors, slick application of paint, distinctive brushstrokes, and real-life subject matter, but they emphasized geometric forms, distorted form for expressive effect, and used unnatural color. What is
Correct.
art? Styles continued for 100. Realism. The general attempt to depict subjects as they are considered to exist in third-person objective reality, without embellishment or interpretation. Okay, fine, whatever, sure, okay, I'll play your stupid game. What is art?
Correct.
For the love of... Styles continued for 200. Surrealism is a cultural movement that began in the early 1920s. Surrealist works feature the element of surprise and unexpected juxtapositions. What is art?
Correct.
Styles continued for 300. Modernism. The term describes the modernist movement in the arts, originally arising from changes to Western society in the late 19th and early 20th centuries. Modernism rejects the ideology of realism and makes use of the works of the past through reprise, incorporation, rewriting, revision, and parody. What is art?
Correct.
Styles continued for 400. Symbolism was a late 19th century movement of French, Russian, and Belgian origin in poetry and other mediums. What is
Correct.
art? Styles continued for 500. It has many different styles, even more than the ones listed in these sections. What is art? Correct! And with that last question, we're headed on to our bonus question. We have Spook in the lead for $3,600, Sam in close second with $3,300, and Samantha tagging behind with $600. Now, I'll show you the final question, write your answers down, and the amount you're willing to wager. Spook, with the answer, what is art? You're right. And how much did you wager? $666, making your total $4,266. Very nice. Sam, what is art? Correct. And your amount? $1,337, giving you $4,637 for your total and putting you in first. And Samantha, help me. No, sorry, that is incorrect. And the amount you wagered? Please. Well, I guess that would keep your score the same. And that makes Sam the winner. Yes! And she gets to play again. Thanks for all you folks at home for watching, and have yourself a great evening. Oh man, Jay wasn't kidding about this book.